The recipe of the week is homemade pizza. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome to the Long Run with Joel and Christy. I'm Christy, flying solo again. Joel's still busy at work. This week's recipe of the week is homemade pizza. If you look back, you may see that we've done a no yeast pizza crust recipe in the past, and we did, but we were requested by several people to show the whole thing, because all we showed was the part where we made the crust. We didn't show any other part of it, really, other than just kind of mentioning the end product. I'm going to show you the whole thing, and I'm going to talk to you through it, because pizza crust in itself is kind of an art, and I think that you do have to keep working at it until you get it just right. I am still using the same no yeast crust recipe. I'm not sure I'm ever going to go back to the other. I mean, with yeast, you have to proof it most of the time. There's always challenges. If you don't have the water temperature just right, it won't proof, that kind of thing. So this is actually almost a no-fail kind of thing, as long as you make sure that you follow the steps. You don't want to overwork your dough at any time, and that may be the one thing that would throw you off. But I'm going to take you through the whole steps, and then I'm going to show you everything that we put on a pizza, and hopefully this will be helpful to you. So let's get started. This recipe that I have, which I got from allrecipes.com, is usually a go-to. It has tons of recipes, so usually I would say 7 or 8 times out of 10, if I Google a recipe, All Recipes probably has a copy of it, of what I'm trying to find. So this is 1 1/3 cup of flour. I used unbleached flour. See, you can get higher quality, more expensive flours than this, but this one is going to be your best of regular flours. Bleached flour has been exactly what you're saying. They have bleached the flour. So yeah, I prefer not to bring bleach into my flour. I have unbleached, so at least I know I'm avoiding that chemical. So basically this right here, adding baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, is basically like your substitution for using dry active yeast. If you didn't have the baking powder and salt in it, you would probably have to get the dry active yeast to do. Otherwise, your dough is not going to work out right. And if you would like me to do one with dry active yeast, I can do that. Like I said, it's just more complicated. I've had a couple of times where it just failed. I couldn't get the water temperature right, apparently, and we ended up ordering out because I couldn't get it to do right. Okay, after you do that, see, I'm just basically mixing it up real well. And always get flour on the countertop, because it's me. That's the oven preheated to 500 degrees. Yes, 500. You want it to really be cooking it. All right, so this is a 1/2 cup of milk. I used almond milk. It calls for fat-free milk, but basically you're going to use whatever you want to. I think almond milk is a fine substitution. It's not a very high fat milk, so it's a good substitution for fat-free. And that was 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So, once again, gonna mix that up. You're gonna try your best to keep working it as much as you can. I'm gonna try to get that moisture mixed up with the dry ingredients as much as possible. Now, what I do at this point, don't at me about this, I've washed my hands already. But you start using my hands. It's just harder to do that with a spoon. Okay, so now before I move any further, I'm gonna move that out of the way. And I'm gonna do this. This is a cutting board right here. You could clean off your countertop and make sure that you have a really, really clean countertop and just knead the dough on the countertop. But if you want to, you can use a cutting board, which is my preference. Okay, so I always lose a few pieces, no big deal. Okay, so at this point, you don't want to do, like I said, you don't want to over knead your dough. So you're going to stop what you're doing. Don't do that anymore. And then you're going to, just like the recipe says, you want to do the exact same thing. You want to knead it 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And I just give it a nice little roll around like that. Take the bowl and you're just going to put it on top and you're going to set a timer for 10 minutes. So that's 10 minutes. And the dough has been sitting there that 10 minutes. Now, like I said, you don't want to overwork it. And these are some of the tips that I've picked up over the years on how to do this. You do not want to use a rolling pin. You might say, seriously, you're going to roll it out? Yep, that's right. A rolling pin will actually pop the air bubbles in your dough and you'll end up with a really, it won't be airy. Let's put it that way. Okay, so what you do instead is you start just putting your knuckles into it and you're going to say what's the difference, and it's just not hitting as many of the pockets as it would if you didn't do it that way. Okay, and when you feel like you've gotten that done, then you're going to pick it up. And I am not an expert. I'm sure that if someone who works in a professional pizza restaurant saw me do this, they would say, no, 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 this is not how you do it. And that's fine. I'm not a professional. I did work in a pizza restaurant for 3 years, but it was a chain restaurant, which, you know, means that we had a mix and a machine, and you put the dough in it and it rolled the dough out for you. You didn't do anything. So I didn't learn about pizzas in that fashion. That wasn't where I learned. I've just watched a lot of cooking shows. That's where I picked up most of it. Earl watches a lot of Food Network. So you just keep doing like that. You're not gonna go much further than that. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the recording and I'm gonna move my camera over here so that you can see the rest of it. Also, a little tip for you, because we have this kind of pan, we don't, it has holes in it, and so to keep us from getting oil all in the bottom of our oven, we take one of our other like sheet pans, put aluminum foil on that, and then put it in the oven and on the rack below where the pizza will be. I usually put just a little bit of cheese down in the bottom. If you do Chicago style or something like that, that this is all reversed from what that would be. But since this is not Chicago style, put the salt on the bottom. Okay. I also encourage you that during that 10-minute period that you have, go ahead and get your toppings ready. You may have seen this in our grocery hauls, but we do not buy shredded cheese in a bag. Instead, we shred it. And you know why? That's so inconvenient. And the answer is that there's preservatives in the shredded bags of cheese that keeps them from fresh on the shelf, but also keeps them from caking together so that they're not a big clump when you get home with them. So that's why we do that. And hey, it's a little exercise workout. You can come home on the day that you come home with your groceries and you can go ahead and shred that cheese. Or you can just wait to a few hours earlier in the day, or maybe like 10 or 15 minutes before you plan to cook. And you get a little exercise because you have to work those arms to get it to shredded with a shredder or a grater. And you're going, wow, that's a lot of pepperoni. Yes, this is our son's pizza. He likes all the pepperoni. And that's really the only thing he'll eat is pepperoni and cheese. So this is going to be a very traditional pizza. And I know that you may go, and if you bought it from a pizza restaurant, they wouldn't have that much pepperoni on it. And you are absolutely right. When I worked at the one that I worked at, we had a specific number of pepperonis that we put on each pizza. And it's not near about this amount. But if y'all seen our thing, you know that he doesn't eat but a little snack, little tiny lunch of about 4 or 5 taquitos every day, and then waits for dinner. And then when dinner comes, he's starving, and then he eats a little bit at night after we've gone to bed. So he doesn't always eat the whole pizza by himself, but sometimes he does, and yeah, he likes the pepperoni, which, to be honest, we put the same amount of pepperoni on ours. I eat like just a couple of slices of it, and Joel eats pretty much the rest of it, because we usually make this on Saturday night, and then he runs like 16 to 18 miles on Sunday morning, so it's like his running fuel is pizza, so he wants a lot of pepperoni on his. Now, like I said, these are very traditional. They're not very adventurous. I would try a lot of other things, and it's kind of ironic. Joel will put spinach on his if we go to a restaurant, but at home, he doesn't want that. So, okay, so we got that done. Now, before we move any further, I'm going to show you one other thing that I do, and that is this. Let me see. Hopefully that'll be okay. I'm setting it. My oven's getting hot. So first, I don't have measurements for this, but first I take a little avocado oil, pour that in the bowl, like that. This is garlic powder. Do it till it looks about like that. And black pepper. Then I just take a little, what do you call that? Basting brush, something like that. And I just mix it together so it looks like that. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go around the edges. And what I'm basically doing is I'm putting that oil and those seasonings on the outer crust part, and it's going to make that crust really crispy and golden brown. It's gonna be awesome. You'll see. And I'm gonna place that right there and consider that in the oven for 10 minutes. Just in case. Hey, by the way, look who just got home from work. Just in time to take the pizza out here.
Yep.
Now, what you can do is you can shred some Parmesan cheese on the top or something like that, just to finish it off. And maybe have, if you wanted to, you could have a little salad on the side. If I was being really bad, if I had any, well, I do have some. I have some Chick-fil-A ranch.
Yep.
Anyway, you can have some Chick-fil-A ranch dressing to dip it in. Who does? Comment in the
comment section.
Comment below and tell us if you if you dip your pizza into anything, like I do. I don't every time. I usually only do that if we have some in our house and we have some of the little ranch packets from Chick-fil-A. Might use one of those tonight.
I do not.
Yeah.
I eat Cheetos with mine.
Yeah, you heard that right.
Seriously.
Yep. He eats Cheetos on the side of everything, y'all.
Yep.
And so that is the whole pizza recipe.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more updates from us, and
be sure to watch our grocery hauls and vote on the recipe of the week so
That's
that
right.
you get to choose what we're going to cook next.
That's right. So for the Long Road with Joel and Christy, I'm Joel.
And I'm Christy.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.